Are family dinners extinct? That is our conversation today on the Empowering Choices podcast.
You've never come into a podcast with that much energy, Josh. At least not that way.
It's good that we practice this before we actually go live.
Yeah, we
Wait,
have
we do? Oh, I must have missed that practice.
we had a large amount of pre-show discussion.
Yes, and
Is
laughter.
that what that was?
Yes, and then that leads me to do some type of news anchor intro.
I'm not sure what the proper approach would be for talking about something that's extinct. You have to put on your archeologist voice, I suppose.
Maybe our family. Yeah, I don't even know what that would be.
That was about as good as Eric's accent from earlier.
True. So I have family dinners. Eric's does good accents.
It was a good
so
accent.
Just let him be. Let him be.
Oh, I can't. And now we will be talking about whether or not family dinners.
That's not an accent. You just cupped your hands around
The
mic.
family dinner.
You didn't hear the difference in my voice.
I mean, it was. I don't know if that's an accent. You were maybe a little deeper.
Hey, I'm the voice actor. I get to say what the accent is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a podcast quite start like this before.
We haven't.
No.
You're welcome, audience. This is what you tune in for.
Okay, so I will say if you look back at the old days, I don't know the
You're gonna
TV
have to be more specific.
Okay, you mean like yesterday?
Look at the black and white TV shows that no one probably watches anymore, but look at
That's because they're not black and white TVs.
Lassie and what's the one with Barney Fife, the Jim Griffin, you look at these,
You're going back way before you were even born.
Look at The Wizard of Oz.
It's in color now.
Well, but the first part. And are they eating at a table before the tornado? I don't even remember. Moral of the story is you think about the family sitting around the table
there at the beginning of it.
And
NTM and
there you go. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And so that seems like a traditional thing, and we're asking if it's extinct because today a lot of people don't even do that. And should they be doing that?
Ooh, I think that's a really good question. Is it good?
Yeah. Is it better to sit around a table and have a family dinner than drive through somewhere on your way to whatever and give kids food and do this and that and then
here's your hamburger, here's your fries.
Yeah. I didn't get the toy I want.
Here's your Cafe Yum Bowl.
Right.
Okay, I just, anything.
So, and I would say from my experience, yes, I really liked having family dinners growing up. And,
why?
And strangely, as a child, I pushed for them.
Why?
You, as a child, you pushed for them.
So my parents were very modern parents in the sense of that, I don't know, I was doing stuff that other kids weren't doing. I could go to the movies. I could do all these things, so I didn't even want to do them. And my friends were like, well, that's weird. I'm like, well, I don't want to do it. I could do it. So I did. So that was my approach. But So
at what age did you see Deadpool?
Well, it wasn't out.
Okay.
So they would, they got into watching TV and doing the dinner trays to eat
in front of the TV.
Yeah, in front of the TV.
That was the person who came up with that was a good sales pitch.
Yeah. And so that's what they were doing. Well, then at Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve or some special event, we would sit around the table. And so when we sat around the table, people talked to me and we actually talked about things. And I really liked that.
As a kid, you liked talking to your family around the dinner table.
Yeah. And so
that's not the story I was expecting to have happen.
I began advocating for, can we please eat around the table? Can we do that? And then as time progressed, by the time I was in high school, the majority of our meals, we ate around the dining room table and then afterwards went and watched TV. And I really liked that because I liked having conversation and talking about what was going on. So I don't know if I was just a weird kid or what, but that was how it worked at my house.
I was trying to find if there were any easy to digest statistics on do people eat family dinners together, and all the websites that I've found break it apart in various ways of how much money people spend on restaurants and how many people wish they could eat together more often. And so
sounds like not many.
Right.
The statistics lean towards the fact that people are not eating at home together as a family particularly frequently.
Right.
I was hoping to be able to quote some numbers on that sentence, but there wasn't a digestible single number that I could kind of wrap my head around. See, like here's a comment. This is from the American Heart Association. 91% of parents say their family is less stressed when they eat meals together. So that's like advocating that you should do it more. The American Heart Association thinks that you should eat together with your family for dinner. That's kind of an interesting like recommendation.
Right.
Right.
Are they trying to say that studies have shown eating together with your family produces less heart attacks?
Well, stress would be related to heart attacks. I'm not, again, this is just like the little blip from the search results. But
Okay. I don't know if this is true, but this is a study done by Instant Cart. Allegedly.
no, it's not.
Instant cart. Interesting.
It says in a survey conducted October 2019, 29% of Americans said they sat down and ate a dinner table every day. Roughly 70% of meals in America are eaten outside of the home.
So Instacart is selling you something, and they're selling you a product whereby you should eat in your house.
So then they
because that's
would
the product
bias
they're
it
selling
to
you. So I would be
act like-
biased.
Well, but Instacart is we will
Bring
bring
you the
your
stuff.
groceries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're biased towards, because if they have an agenda to push, they want you to eat at home because that's their business model. If it was a study published by McDonald's, I'd be concerned that it was biased the other way.
Well, that was kind of my point with the Heart Association. It's biased to if
Well,
you
fair.
eat with your family,
Pretty much
you'll have
every
less heart
statistic
attacks.
is biased.
It's not a bad bias because everything has a bias to it. It just depends on then your methodology to whether or not how accurate your survey is versus how biased it was to be able to get people to do what you want them to do. If you had only 3 people in the survey,
Do we want people to do something as a result of this podcast? I think the thing that we want people to do is think about what might be good for your family.
Exactly.
And then I think that our primary point, if we were going to push one, would be you should spend time with your kids and you should spend time with your family, and you should think about if dinner time is a place where you should do more of that.
yeah.
Like if I wanted to give a go do this as a result of this podcast, I think that's what I would want people to do.
I'll give my pitch for the family dinner around a table prepared in the home.
Absolutely.
I
Okay.
thought you did.
So number one.
Okay.
So number one, I think that when you concentrate on having a family dinner at the table prepared at home, you can lean towards having healthier food because you're going to cook it. So yes, you could cook really bad food, but you're probably, unless you're going to pay a lot of money, you're going to have trouble finding less processed foods and things out. So there's just kind of a side benefit. But I think the biggest benefit is it is a dedicated time that you can sit down with everyone, and it can kind of become a central focal point of conversation, of kind of an anchor point to the week, kind of a check-in, or to the day, kind of a check-in, sort of a thing like that. And while you may not be able to do it every day, I would strive to do it most days.
Okay. Now, with that,
Yes.
because number one, your first point is that this could lead to healthier eating.
Yes.
And you could do top ramen, you could do mac and cheese, you can do hamburger helper,
Right.
You can do, so there are processed things that could, sideswipe that
Easily.
suggestion.
Right.
So you'd have to have intentionality.
Yes.
In that part. And it doesn't mean you won't have, hot dogs and mac and cheese every now and
Right.
then. Because the food choice isn't the main thing that, I hear you really sticking on. Because when you were talking about it earlier, it was the conversation.
Right.
Which, like when I was a kid, that was one of the things that they said, this is why we will eat as a family. Number one, you learn etiquette. You learn how to eat as a people through the family table dinners.
Don't stand on the table.
There's don't stand on the table.
We had a client
Yes.
for whom that was a very
was a-
poignant
yeah.
thing that they did
Wow.
not learn
Yeah.
in their life.
No one told them that.
until they came to counseling. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous, but also it literally happened.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a part of the
Yeah.
etiquette,
Yeah.
that you're learning. How do you sit? I have clients that will say, I will have my kids come to the table and they'll eat 3 bites and run off and play. And I'm like, there's an etiquette, And-
I've got a 2-year-old that likes to roll around on the dining room chairs.
okay. And so,
And so we keep kid, bottom in chair.
right? Yeah, because you're trying to teach, because a part of what you can teach with family dinners are self-control,
Right.
self-discipline, self-restraint. you're increasing the attention span in those pieces. When I was a kid, you had all of the different, the knives and the forks and the sides and the types of napkins and all these different things.
You're talking about like at a fancy restaurant where you have like 15 forks?
Yes, but my folks took it upon themselves to train us as to what all those things meant and how they were set up at home as a part of the family dinner. And then the main thing was, and this is where we hear about each other's day.
Right.
Now, as you were talking about that, I'm going to all those different movie scenes or TV shows where you see the big, the family at the table and everybody's sitting there and you hear this tink, 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 tink,
It's just
tink,
quiet.
tink. It's just the silverware and it's quiet. And then the dad might go, "So, Josh, how's school?" "Good."
Yeah, that's one of
So-
the sitcom standards.
"Katie, how's sports?" "Good." "Good dinner." "All right." Get it? And so there's going to be some intentionality
Right.
in there. And what I'm hearing from you is your intentionality was, I really want to talk to people because social skills and communication skills and problem solving, dinner table can be a huge place
Right.
that you can have those, you can teach those, you can support those, you can reinforce those. It's not the best time to really talk about the F per se.
Right.
Because in those teenage worlds, that's when
You don't
the
mean the
teenager
F word,
leaves.
do you?
I don't mean the F word. I mean the F grade.
Just checking.
F word grade.
The F word grade.
Which, by the way, some schools don't even have grade numbers like that
I
anymore.
know.
So I don't even know what
You just get a
would
smiley
talk
face and a
about
frowny
the
face?
0 or
There's
the 2 or the 8 or
numbers
the
and
10
letters and so because I've had teenagers explain it to me. And
I
I'm
wouldn't
like,
even know if that's good or bad.
right. And they'll look at me and go, "Yeah, I got an F."
Yeah.
There's still enough cultural currency to
Right.
that.
Yeah. I'm like, then why do they get that? I don't know. They think that we don't know we got an F.
They think
Or
we
an A.
don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But that's something
yeah.
you could talk about at
Right.
the dinner table as well.
I'm going to take it even one step farther.
Okay.
So if you say that you are focused on trying to raise kids that are going to be able to sort of sustain themselves in society and
sounds like a
family,
good goal. We should
and they're
advocate for
going,
that.
yeah, and they're going to be able to not think that everything magically comes from McDonald's or different places. You could actually have the children help with the prep for the dinner, whether it be helping to set the table, helping to make a salad, helping to mix stuff together, anything like that. And then when it's over, you can have them help with putting the stuff away. And I think there is a difference between the me go watch TV now, you kids do all your chores, and between just as a family, we're each doing a different thing. Let's just get this done really quick. And then that can help to teach responsibility. That can help to teach a lot of things. And so I really view,
I'm sorry, Josh. I was scrolling. What did you say?
hey,
Oh,
pay
good.
attention
Oh, okay.
to the dinner conversation.
Okay.
So basically, I would say that when you don't do the family dinner, look at all the things that you just took off the table that you no longer are able to do, which is do some of those preparation, some of those chores, some of those I can sustain myself. I could actually make, a kid may get the idea. I could actually get some carrots and some ranch and some stuff out of the refrigerator and have a snack myself because I helped do it one night for dinner. I remember one time, and I cook a lot now, but there was a time that I didn't do that much cooking. And we were at like a family dinner and got assigned to make a green bean casserole, which I didn't even know what goes in a green bean casserole or whatever. But then after I did, it's like, oh,
Pickles.
that's easy. I could do that. I always thought that was very complicated. And so I think by doing some of those things, so I really view the dinner time, the family dinner, as this like, it has like 20 layers like the onion. It's a multi-layered
Ogres are
thing
like
from
onions.
Conversation to nutrition to learning to set up things, learning to clean up things.
confidence.
It's a whole thing. Yeah.
So you're talking about
Self-esteem.
taking like we should do dinners as a family, and then you're expanding it to the idea of your children should be engaged
Yes.
in your family, and then you should also be teaching them things. So like, my 2-year-old, I'm teaching her how to take the garbage out on
yeah.
garbage night.
Yep.
Right. And so like it's literally very specific of like, where's the garbage bag, the box of bags?
Yeah.
Right, we're going to define those.
Yeah.
Right. How do you take one out? Right.
Yep.
How do you not take out the whole roll?
Yep.
All right. How do you take that really flat piece of plastic and turn it into a garbage bag? Right. You
Right.
gotta pinch it, and then you gotta pull it, and then you gotta flap it. She's
Yep.
gotten really good at the flapping. But yeah, we're deviating from dinner time, but you're just talking about like we said our primary point is to be engaged with your family. And so like dinner time is kind of like a conversational opportunity. And then you're talking about and making dinner and cleaning it up and learning skills like how to cook.
Yeah. And see, I feel like these are the kids that when you go to visit them in college, they're not sitting in a pile of trash because they never thought, oh, that's something that mom and dad doesn't just come and do. No one's going to come to my new apartment or my new dorm and take that out. Yeah. Oh, you might have to actually open a can. I've never opened a can before. Right. You know, just things like that.
Yeah, I was talking to I don't remember how old he is, 16 or 17-year-old, and I was just asking him kind of like, what's his ability to cook? How skilled is he in the kitchen? And he's like, I know how to make blue box mac and cheese.
There you go.
And it's like, at 16, I would want my children to
out
have
of
a greater repertoire of abilities to do. Yeah, and he's like, I'll live on that and top ramen and I'll be fine. And it's like, I mean, you do you, man. But I would want my children to have a greater repertoire. Right. I knew when I was growing up, the thing that I always remember being assigned to do in the kitchen was like, if it was on the stovetop, my job was to stir it.
There you go.
So it's like ground beef and we're making tacos, or it's sauteed vegetables, or it's like, here, go stir that.
Yeah.
Which is a skill. Like it's a skill in the kitchen that's helpful to know. So you're not like, I don't know, afraid of the stovetop or something.
Right.
So yeah, we've kind of drifted from dinner, but again, our primary point is not so much dinner per se as be engaged with your family. If that's an opportunity that would be helpful for you to explore, you should. And then there's all of these other ancillary.
Well, and there's a lot of ways that you can make dinner a very interesting thing. I've had friends who, when they were growing up, there were topics that were assigned. So somebody amongst the kids might have to come and start a topic on, the difference between automobiles today and when they were first started.
So this is homework for dinner time?
A homework for dinner time. And
I've not heard of that exactly, but
you're going to find it a little more in the Aspie autism types of realms and parenting per se. But not everybody who does that is like that. And they may just bring up a topic, a parent may, of something of interest, something they know the kids, will encounter, something that isn't, too far out there or too over their heads, and the topic just begins.
Well, that sounds like we're going to very intentionally practice kind of social skills.
Yes.
Opportunity.
Exactly.
Because I suspect that what you're talking about isn't so important in that situation as how you're talking, and can you talk, and can you carry on a conversation, and have that exchange of ideas in a reasonable fashion.
One of the shows that has a big family dinner, in fact, every episode ends with the Sunday dinner of all the family there, is Blue Bloods. And it kind of focuses on, kind of the dinner time conversation. Some of it may be kind of a theme for, what happened in the shows, as in the show you have several generations of police officers. The daughter is a district attorney. You have different pieces and different levels, and so they may have had similar cases they were working on, or they're just kind of talking about different things that have happened in the week. Doesn't always go well, but you definitely have some communication that's going back and forth. And there's definite rules, that are there. There's a couple of times in some of the episodes where either the grandfather or the father will say, hey, that's against the rules of what we bring up at this table.
There's rules.
There's rules. That's out of bounds. We're not doing that. We're keeping this clean. We're keeping this, cohesive.
Well, and I think that's kind of an interesting element to like, if we do family dinners, are there rules? You know, and the more you like say the rules out loud, probably the better, right? So that you're not, you know, unwritten rules are sometimes hard to navigate
because they're kind of unwritten.
Right. Well, I mean, that means that they're harder to know what they are. So,
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you were mentioning earlier, Eric, and I think in some previous podcasts around like, you know, maybe we don't have hard conversations at the dinner table. Right. And so maybe somebody brings something up and you go, that's not for this environment. Right. Whatever your rules are.
Yeah.
So are family dinners extinct? We recommend they not be. And more notably, you should engage with your family somewhere. And this is an idea for a place where you could.
Around the dinner table.
Yes.
And if we go a little farther, it could start in the kitchen.
Right. There you go. Yep.
Right. Yep.
You know,
Yeah. We
and
advocate
the preparation.
Think for what's going to work for your family. Absolutely.
Yep. It can start at the kitchen and end at the garbage can.
There we go. We've gone full circle.
Prep dinner, eat dinner, and take out the trash. So there you go. All right. Well, let us know what you think about if family dinner is extinct in the comments. Definitely like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode.